and welcome. We're so excited to help you today with your History Day Annotated. I'm Mrs. Stevens, and I am the head coach of Performance and Podcast. Anybody else want to do?
I'm Mrs. Roman. I am co-coach on performance / head coach on some documentary / co-coach on a billion other things.
And I'm Miss Populous. I am co-coach for Exhibit, one of the head coaches for Group Exhibit. I think that's been decided.
You are the head coach for Group Exhibit, yeah.
But also helping with set designs and any other things that we will need building.
We all share and help each other, but it just kind of gives you an idea of if you have specific questions about Exhibit, ask Pop, documentary, probably ask Roman, and then performance, probably performance paper or podcast, ask Stevens, right? And then website would be either Stevens or Roman, probably. Oh, look, all of our friends are here. I love it. I love it. Yay. We're so excited to see you. And just for joining us, I promised you a little help with research, and I'm really excited to get started. So I don't want to waste. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Abner. Yes, this is going to be great. So this is going to be really fun today. So we're going to walk through, we're going to try to make it as fun as possible. But what I really want to get out of today is for you to feel confident and to have stuff done. Because I think that the annotated bib in the past has been the most stress for our students. And so Miss Pop, Miss Roman, and I, we wanted to make it really simple for you. So can you guys answer the chat, or can only I?
I can't do it without signing in, and it'll kick me out if I do it.
Okay, so if you see questions in the chat, will you just stop me? Because I'm going to screen share. Okay, So in the chat, ask questions. Make sure you put your name, not last name necessarily, but first name, because I owe you something. If I promised you something and you're going to want me to pay up. So that's important. Hi, Nicole. Okay, so let's get started. I want you to get results done so you have less homework and more fun times to actually work on your performances, your exhibits, whatever category you choose to do. I'm here for it. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you, and I feel excited about, will you guys talk about what an annotated bib is for just a second? Because I need to share something over really fast.
Take it.
Okay, so an annotated bibliography is really important to your project because it shows the amount of research and the depth of the research that you've conducted during your project. So really, when the judges are looking at your History Day project, they're looking at your annotated bibliography in addition to your project itself. And so the annotated bib is super important. It can be a bit of a daunting task, but if you get started early, it really, really helps. So it's got two parts to it, right, Pop?
Yes.
And I'll let Miss Populous talk about what are the two main parts of an annotated bib.
So that would be primary and secondary sources. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So your primary sources are going to be the sources from people that were actually there in the thick of it, of whatever event person that you're talking about. And secondary sources will be people who are telling you about it, but they weren't there themselves. Both are very important to add on to your annotated bib. We, I think, like to go ahead and steer in as much primary sources as possible because then it just backs up what you're arguing or what you're trying to prove or talk about, and just really shows the judges that you know your history and you've done your research very thoroughly. Along with other fun things like alphabetizing your annotated bib and making sure that you have all the T's crossed and the I's dotted. It's a daunting task, like Ms. Roman already said, but it is in the end very worth it. And I think we've already told you guys it's about 60% of the project. It's actually a big chunk of it. So it's very, very important.
More than half of your grade. Okay, that's how we're looking at it. So let's do it together right now. Let's just get started. Let's not stress about it, or like let's see it. So this is our state champion annotated bib, full process paper that we took with us to nationals that we got feedback from our judges on. And so we know it's right. It's done in the best format possible if you want to be a state and national champion. And in history, our format is called Chicago. I know many of you are familiar with MLA, Modern Language Association, that's done in English. And some of you might have even heard of what's done in science, which is called APA. But in history, we have a really specific way we format things, and it's called Chicago. And I'm going to teach you how to do it right now. It's going to be really easy. So if you're in a group, I want you on one document. If you're by yourself, one document. So group, same document. You only do this one time. Did I say that enough times? Get it?
I think so.
Okay. So if I am with Emma, then I've got Emma, Doha, and Jeremy on one document. Do not make more than one. Okay?
Yes, on a doc, Emma.
So we're going to go to Google Docs. We're going to open up a Google Doc. We're going to type in your names. So whoever's in it. And then we're going to put junior division if we are in middle school. If we are in high school, we're going to put senior division. Okay. So if the three of us were working on a team, it would be Angela Stevens, and we go in alphabetical order. So who goes first? If it's Stevens, Pop, and Roman, can anybody tell me who goes first? How would you know that? You literally go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, P, P. Oh, Pop goes first, right? You are, Roman goes next, and then who goes last? So it's going to go Amanda Populus, then it's going to go Vanessa Roman, then it's going to go Angela Stevens, okay? And you can see that right here. So we're going to do it exactly like we have here. So we're going to go into our document, and I'm going to title it in real time so you can watch me title it. So they titled Tinker versus Des Moines, which is fine, but we might as well title it the way that it needs to be titled for nationals. So it's going to be junior division if you are in middle school. If you're in high school, it's going to be senior division. So we're going to do junior division. This was a performance. So Emma would say performance, but my friend Jezebel would say documentary. And then you can either put the names or you can just put your, like, what your topic was. And my kids did Tinker versus Des Moines. Okay, so I have junior division performance. That tells me which division, which category, and then their topic. And that will be a great way to start. Now, we need to set our document up correctly. So I want you to go up here and click Times New Roman and click 12-point font. Okay, Times New Roman, 12-point font is really, really important. So we've got our title, we've got Times New Roman, 12-point font. Now we're going to put our title of our project. So if we haven't got our official title yet, we can just put like a working title, which is just kind of the topic. So let me look at who I've got. Who's here? Who wants help with, hi, you guys. Who wants help with titles? Because I can help you give. Yes, best. My girl Vanessa's in the house. Yes, best annotated ever. She's like, this looks familiar. Vanessa, time to set up a new. Okay, actually, Vanessa, let's do yours. So you're going to have senior division performance. By the way, Esteban's in for sure. And for your title, let's just do quinceañeras. And then, guys, to make this easy, we can say your title. So like Emma, you would say like Ann Hutchinson. And then I'd like you to say like the revolution, the religious revolution. There's a great top, like that'll be a working title for now. And so Vanessa, yours can be quinceañera, the revolution of Hispanic Chicana. Could you say that, Miss Roman, or no?
I think technically it's Hispanic because
Hispanic,
it's both Mexico and Mexican American.
So we'll say Hispanic. So we'll say quinceañera, the revolution of coming of age, maybe the coming of age of Hispanic youth, or female specifically.
Female specific.
Okay, so you could say, oh, I like the coming of age story as a title. That could be powerful, because isn't that what it is a coming of age story?
Mm-hmm.
So, can you make that title stronger for us?
Yeah, let's see. The revolution Oh, because it's quinceañera is all about like a young girl becoming a woman. And it's changed over time, right? It was like so she could be ready for marriage, but now it's just into adulthood. So it's really a revolution of like growing up. So we'll have to think of something better. Jeremy had asked though, do we share with you our annotated bib? And the answer is yes. You want to share with Miss Stevens and
Three.
any of the other, yeah, all three of us. If you can get all of us on there, that would be great. If you want help, you add all the coaches, 'cause
Including Valverde.
including Mrs. Valverde. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And just a simple way to add me, just a reminder for those of you who are at my school, I'd love to help you regardless of where you are. I'm at Stevens Loves Teaching at gmail.com.
Emma asked, do I center the title? Yes, Emma, you'll center the title.
Yeah. And it doesn't, like, we can keep working with titles. Sometimes we play with chat and then chat will give us ideas and then we make it better. Gemini can give you ideas. They're never good enough, but they always get you kind of close. So if you went and started playing, I know last year Priscilla had the best, I thought she had the best title of any of my groups. And we played with chat and Gemini and brainstormed. And then we liked 2 or 3 and we started mixing them together. And then Priscilla it just came to her. And she said it and we were all just like, oh, that's it. And it was like really inspiring to be part of it. So
my English teacher heart is happy because Emma asked, do I put my MLA in the left-hand corner? I love that. But in this case, no, because we're actually using Chicago format. So you wouldn't put it in the left. But I love that you know that, Emma.
Isn't that exciting? I've got my 8th graders like on fire. This is a title page. So title pages take the full page. So instead of just in the corner, they're going to take the full screen up. And so title pages are always centered, right? In all the formats I've ever seen. Chicago, MLA, APA, Turabian, they're all centered. And honestly, they're all Times New Roman, I think, aren't they? Mm-hmm. MLA and Chicago and history and English are for sure. Pop is APA, Times New Roman?
Yes.
Okay. So, hi, Julie. We miss you.
So, what can I say?
Yeah. We all have our own. Okay. So, we're going to put our title and then I space. Okay. So, let's say here's spaces. I have just 2 spaces. If you want to get it perfect, 1, 2, then title and then subtitle. Notice that the colon is for the subtitle. Okay. That's really important. So, the title was their topic. Then they have their colon and then they have their subtitle. So title, subtitle. So Jeremy, for example, yours would be Guatemalan genocide. And then something about revolutionizing or reform. I may do reform. Like reform in the Highlands might be a good title for you. So yours would be Guatemalan genocide, colon, reform in the Highlands. Alex, I think you need to do something with racing, like speed. So here, you might have your new topic. I'm trying to remember what it is, F1, but you have to write that out. And then something like the race for revolution or a new speed, something like that. Okay, then I have any questions on title before we move on? We're good? Okay, then watch. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is what I have here. And then I have 5 there for the spacing. And you'll see, just like Pop keeps telling you, it's really important. B is first in the alphabet, then E, then G, M, and R. Oh my gosh, I read these names and I miss them so much. It hurts me. So go ahead and type up whoever's in your group. So the names of whoever's in your group. Jasmine, we know you're alone, so you're only your name, okay? So Jasmine, you're going to be like IDEA. And then Jasmine, your subtitle could be something like a revolution of rights, a revolution of human rights, right? Something like that. Okay, then you're going to go 1, 2, 3, because you want it even on the page. And I have 3 spaces there. And then we have junior division. Go ahead and type that out if you're in middle school. Vanessa, Esteban, Julie, obviously senior division. Make sure you're all on the same page. Chloe, senior division. And then whatever your category is. So if it's so Jasmine, yours is individual performance. Jezebel, yours is group documentary, right? Do we have any exhibitors here today? I don't know. Alex might change, but if doesn't, he's individual exhibit. And then everybody, let's just do word count :500, because I really believe in coaching you guys to write a process paper that's 500. English teacher, talk me out of it.
Well, I think it's fine for now to leave the word count at 500 because we're going to try to get as close to that 500 as possible, because that's what we do here. We try to get as close to the limit as possible because that's what winners do. And we're all here to try to win. So we also have Priscilla here, by the way.
We were just talking about how you had my favorite title last year. How you and you guys is brainstorming. You're brilliant.
Evangelina.
Yeah, thank you. All I can think of was Granada's her last name. I was like, why am I thinking of her last name? Okay, so if you kind of look at that, can you guys see how it's evenly spaced on the paper? That's what it should look like. So obviously, if you only have one name, you're going to have a lot more spaces here, right? So if you had Jasmine, it would be space, 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 Jasmine's name because you're by yourself, and then space, then junior division, individual performance, word count 500. Kate, what she asked me if it was double spaced, right? Emma asked me if it was double spaced, right? So yes, it looks like it is double spaced. Can you see how I'm checking that, you guys? Look how I checked it. I highlighted, I clicked on this little arrowy button, and that'll tell me where my spacing is. So when I ask you to single or double, that's how you do it. Any other coaches, any other like tricks to the first page, or do they all have working?
I'm looking and I'm seeing kids are sharing them with us. I'm seeing them checking their spacing. They're doing a great job following along.
Yep.
If you guys can jump onto some of theirs and start cleaning them and coming up with title ideas, I know they would love that. Okay. They would all be like, yes. So if, brainstorm, we know the titles like the thesis, it's going to keep changing and evolving and getting better. But at least if you have a working title, you have something. And that feels so good because, you're like, oh, I'm doing it, So I love that. Okay, are we ready to move on to process paper? Yeah, let's look at that. What a great question. Grace, see, this girl's a genius, I'm telling you. She asks another great question. She says, does the last name come first then? So let's look again because we want it to look exactly the same. Notice that the title is italicized. Do you guys see that? The title is italicized. It's got to be exactly the format. Then you've got your colon. Then you've got your subtitle. And then notice you've got last name, comma, first name, just like we taught you, just like I taught you in class, right? For MLA. So you're alphabetizing by last name. So Grace, you're alphabetizing by T. And Aaliyah is T. So yeah, so that's how you're going to be doing it. These are great. No, Jeremy, we don't use MLA in History Day. We use the history format called Chicago, but it's similar. So just you want to make it look exactly like my screen. Yes, Karen, I think that's a great idea. We could do that tomorrow in class for the weekend. That's a great idea because I know they want to help. That's really great. You know what? I think Beltran Vanessa not only sounds like a great name, I think it's the name of one of my favorite people on the planet. If you ever get a chance to meet her, whoever this person is, like, she's pretty amazing.
Agreed.
Okay, so then you move on to your next page, and this is your process paper. And notice it doesn't say process paper. It literally just moves into the paper. And your process paper is it 500 words, Vanessa?
Yes.
It's exactly 500 words. I should know that because it's right there. You can't go a single word over. To my chagrin, to my horror, to my, because we always write these beautiful papers that are like 750 words. Then we have to cut. So this is such a fun paper to write, though, because this is a paper about our process of writing it. So I want to read you I'll just read you a little bit of theirs because it tells about our story, not ours, but the kids' story of making their project. And they teach this to their judges. And it's just so beautiful what the kids wrote. The moment Mary Beth Tinker's face lit our screen, we all froze, starstruck. On October 29th, 2024, this 13-year-old turned legend transformed our History Day project into something magical. As a civil rights historical icon who stood up to the Supreme Court, she shared her journey. We started to fully realize the weight of her sacrifice. Fighting for students' free speech and standing up against violence took more courage, faith, and determination than we ever imagined. And it became our mission to bring her story to life with the same passion she showed in 1965. So they got to actually interview Mary Beth Tinker. And so they started their process paper with them in the interview. And then they're going to tell us about how it started. So literally they say, it all started because we wanted to learn about a person in history who fought for rights at our age. So kids' rights, right? While researching, we discovered Mary Beth Tinker and immediately connected with her story. Learning she was still alive, we reached out hoping for an interview. After many days of anxious waiting, we checked our email to find that she'd agreed. Our team was ecstatic. During the interview, Mary Beth shared her compassion for both Vietnam civilians and American soldiers. She spoke movingly about standing up against violence, revealing a wholesome and empowering story, qualities we were determined to capture in our performance. And I want to stop right there because I want to say what the thing that cost this group in their room, they got second in their room instead of first, is that the judges said that they focused too much on Vietnam and not enough on the argument. So to strengthen this paper, if we were going to rewrite it, we should, as a group, they should have focused, or all of us should have focused on making that thesis stronger by linking it to the theme. So in that second paragraph, we should have linked it to the theme better. So what I want you to think about when you're writing your process paper is our journey. So you could write a little bit right now. You're not going to write your whole process paper, but you could all write something like, I chose my topic because I'm doing History Day because. So for example, Alex has a really, really amazing story for why he chose his History Day topic. He knows somebody who was in a tragic accident and it inspired him to tell the story. So he might start with his connection to that. Vanessa, I think you guys should definitely start with how excited you were with your Kinseys, how it like changed your life. And then when you went to History Day, you wanted to share your culture with the world and how important, the idea of turning and revolutionizing is. So if you want to write some of that, you can, or you could just hold it as a space holder. What do you guys suggest for process paper?
I definitely agree. I think starting with the heart of your project, which is obviously there's a reason your topics are drawn, or you're drawn to your topics. You have a really great history teacher too, and History Day coaches who've kind of guided you there. But I think there's a reason all of you have kind of selected your topics. So starting with the story of why you chose that topic or why you are working on that topic is a good start for sure.
Yeah. And I think, and there's not going to be a lot we can do with that yet in the year. So we can literally just move to annotated. But if you just leave, a little room, you could even type in process paper because we want to keep it on the same document. Okay, now we get to set up the famous annotated bib. So right now, centered in the middle of your paper, making it look exactly like I have it. So bold it, capitalize the A, capitalize the B, type out the words Annotated Bibliography. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Here we go, guys. Oh, here we go. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's on. Okay, and as soon as you've got Annotated Bibliography, I need you to type out the word primary sources, just like this, and bold it also. Notice it's still Times New Roman. Notice it's still 12 font. Do not change the font. Do not make it bigger. Exactly like this. Annotated bib, primary sources. Okay, Under the word primary sources, these kids are so good. Type the word secondary sources. Like you see on my screen right here. Secondary sources. That actually should have more of a space. Secondary sources. Miss Roman, do you want to go over the difference between primary and secondary sources for a second?
Sure. I was looking at all of your beginning of your annotateds. They're looking good. I'm pulling a couple title suggestions, and I'll leave comments for the few that I've looked at. Primary and secondary sources, it's really important that you know the difference between the two. And so I'm going to give you a really cheesy way to kind of explain it. So primary source, it's someone that was there, that was present at the event. And a secondary means they got the information secondhand. So I always joke, if there's drama at school and I was a part of that drama, then I would be a primary source. But if I then told that drama to Mrs. Populous and Mrs. Populous told everybody about that drama, then Mrs. Populous would be the secondary source. So it's really important that you understand the difference between the two. Images of the event would be considered a primary source. Articles about the event after the fact would be secondary. So we will kind of help you and guide you, but that's kind of my gist. I'm sure you guys have more to say about that as well.
No, I think we want to just jump in. I always tell the kids if it happened at the time period and it was used in newspapers or propaganda, that's also primary source, because I know like we were looking at primary sources of British propaganda about the tar and feathering of British soldiers. And because they put that in the newspapers and put flyers all over, that's still considered primary source because it's at the time about the event. Mm-hmm. And also in your primary sources, it's really important in your research you get both sides. So for example, what Miss Roman's drama was about was that her and I got in a fight and I pulled her hair and she slapped me. So I'm going to go tell Pop it was all Miss Roman's fault. And she's going to go tell Pop it was all my fault. And we were both primary sources. But we're going to have a very different story of who did what. And you want to try to get both sides. And honestly, you want to get Pop's side too, because she heard both sides. And she knows the people who were there. So even though she's a secondary source, it doesn't always mean secondary sources are less reliable. Because even if I started it, I might want to spin it so it looks like Roman's fault, because maybe I want Pop to be my best friend and they've been spending too much time together. So I'm going to start drama. You guys know this happens. And it happens in history too. So we want to kind of uncover that. And that's where it's kind of fun to research, because you get to find out who's doing like what to who. Okay, anything else, guys, on that? I asked them to tell me their topics in the chat, and I would do some research for them. They have not, which means I'm helping Vanessa. So here we go. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to change screen sharing for just a second. We're going to jump off of this, and I'm going to teach you how to find sources, okay? But before we do that, Pop, Woman of Juarez. All right, Lily, here we go. Before we do that, Pop, do you want to go over a little bit about reliable and unreliable sources?
Yeah, as much as a capacity as I can. So we've all been kind of talking about what makes a reliable source and what doesn't make a reliable source. Like, for instance, if I tell you to go ahead and search something up on Wikipedia, hopefully that should be setting alarm bells to your head that that's not necessarily going to be the most reliable source, because Wikipedia can be edited by anybody. However, Wikipedia, just to start, is a really good idea just to kind of get a general understanding of a topic and an event or anything, like a person. However, if you're going to go ahead and do as much research as we're about to embark on for National History Day, we need to go ahead and go deeper than that. So we need to start looking into more reliable sources. So for example, whenever you look up a website, you're going to want to start looking for things like .org, maybe .edu, maybe .net. Those are really good places to start, but that still is going to go ahead and be kind of I guess just a judgment call depending on what we're looking at. For example, if you look at like a .org, you might also go towards blogs, and blogs are not necessarily something that we want to go ahead and always go ahead and reference as a reliable source, because again, that's somebody's opinion, or somebody can go ahead and adjust it just depending on the situation. So as we continue to go ahead and do more research and to get further into your topics, we'll go ahead and help steer you in the direction of what is a reliable source versus what might not be so reliable.
So can you guys see my screen? Is it shared?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So let's look at Women of Juarez. This is a perfect example. I wanted a little more detail to help narrow my search down. I ignore AI entirely. It's wrong a lot. Wikipedia is way more reliable than AI, so keep that in mind. Really be careful of AI. We tried to use AI just to help us alphabetize last year, and it was a complete nightmare. It deleted multiple sources. We had to grow out 150 sources, but they weren't alphabetized as she was going. So we thought, well, certainly we can just use bits of it to alphabetize. You guys, it deleted like major amounts of her sources. So just stay away from AI. It's very scary. It's not dependable at all, especially with research. So you're better off on accurate sources, published sources. So Pot brings up a good point. So I put in the source and I have a .com here. Here's a .org right here. Here's one that looks very interesting. It's Projects of Seattle Times. That's linked to a reliable newspaper, but it's a .com. But notice it says Disappearing Daughters, a Mother's Search for Justice. I know that that's really what Lily's looking for. I also really like this one, ABC News asking who's killing the women of Juarez. That one looks good. So I could pick any of these. Latina Magazine. The other way I can see if something is accurate is if multiple sources are reporting it. So, Ms. Roman, which one would you want to pick first, do you think?
I feel like I'm trying to see your screen. I would probably want to start with maybe that projects one that you noticed.
This one, the
because at least I'll get a baseline understanding with that project, so maybe it'll point me in another direction.
Well, I know the Seattle Times is a reliable source. It's published and vetted by people who are checking their sources. I also know from my research with Lillian that this cross is exactly what we're looking at for her research, because this is the symbol that they use to remember the women who've disappeared. So already I have two things I really like about this source. It is a .com. It shows me the date. Let's see if there's an author, because if there's not an author, that can be really sketchy. Oh, wow. Look, guys, it's going to go clear into, and already Lily wanted to decorate graves and we didn't know how we were going to do it. And look, Lily, if you can see my screen, you could literally use this as the source for your opening scene. So this is primary source stories from the actual women. So that's really powerful already. So it's published. Here's your author. Okay, that's really good. We have an author, we have a publisher, we have a date. Okay. And we have like pictures of actual people they interviewed. So I'm loving this source already. I'm hoping that she's going to read it and use it. I'm going to assume that she is. I'm going to teach you now how to do the source. Okay. Watch carefully. Go
really quickly, Ms. Stevens. I'm sorry. Are you showing it on your screen? Because it looks like we're still on the search engine.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It's not. It didn't go past.
No.
Hold on. Oh my goodness. You're going, Stevens, what are you doing?
That's like, I'm missing something.
You're like bad.
And then I think also in our comments, Emma asked, what would I search up? Just Anne Hutchinson? And what would you say to that? I think it's a good place to start.
I would say Anne Hutchinson Revolution, Anne Hutchinson Reaction, I would start putting in your title with theme words to help link it to the thesis, if it's that big. Because Hutchinson, when I did that for you to help you, I got like 6,000 hits. So you notice for Lily, I made it broad. I knew I wanted the disappearing people of Juarez. I knew I wanted a little more like narrow. So if you want to look on this one, can you see it now?
Yes.
Graves. I really want Lily to go to the site if she can, because for their opening scene, they wanted to do the graves, and it has that in the video. It'll show you. Can you see the video? I don't know if it's.
Yes.
See how we could do that and make it look like the actual ones that the moms did, which is amazing, because then it'll make it even more primary source. Okay. So now can you see that there's an author? So
Yes.
there's an author, there's the publishing source. You can see that the date, and it's by a reputable publisher, and also the Pulitzer Center and the International Women's Media Foundation help sponsor it. So this source is actually very good for a .com. We can see that it has a lot of pieces and has been well researched. So now I'm just going to skim down. This is some great stuff. So you can say no one knows exactly how many women have been killed or kidnapped in Juarez. And you're going to do a quick read of this. This is 137% increase over years. This is kind of what Juarez looks like. There's the mom. This is a full video of the mom and her daughter. So you could use this story as the basis, Lily, for one of your characters. So let's pretend that Lily's going to base her character on this girl, or that she's going to research to see. So she's going to go up here and see this URL. Can you see me highlighting that, ladies? Or no?
No.
No.
Okay. Do you guys know what? Can somebody explain what a URL is?
The URL is, I was like, how do I explain that?
I'm like, I don't know.
The top of your page.
Yeah. Whenever you go into Google, I notice a lot of you at the very top will just start typing like your search, and you'll use it to search. But typically, if you're on a website, that bar at the very top is the URL. So it's the website. It's the link to the website. I don't know. Pop, do you have another way to say that?
No, it's the part that starts with the HTTP dot semicolon or colon, and it goes on to it. That's what we call the URL. So if you guys go into Google and you just type in Women of Juarez, you're going to go ahead and find a link. You're going to click on it. And then at the top of that, you're going to go ahead and have a little bar at the top, and it's going to go ahead and tell you the link and what it is. So that's what we would call the URL.
That's the URL. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. So you can't put the URL link in to your annotated bib. That's a dead link. It's not an accurate source. Okay. This is a secondary source, but the interview is a primary source. So if we watched that video from the mom and just use the mom, that's a primary source because it's her talking about her daughter disappearing. So we're going to pretend that Lily and Grace and we watched the whole thing. We know it's a true story. We want to source her as a primary source. So now I'm going to show you how to do that inside Google Docs. This is the single most important thing I'm going to teach you all year. I'm going to save hours. I would have killed for this when I was your age. So I'm going to go under primary sources, and I'm going to click insert. Is that where it was, Roman?
Oh my goodness. Every year we have to do this. It's tools. It should be under tools.
Tools, ladies and gentlemen. And then we're going to go to citations. We barely found this. And it's not MLA. What is it, ladies and gentlemen? Chicago. Can you see this on my screen, you guys?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to show you that one more time because this is really important to your life. I got my little linkity link. I copied it into my clipboard. Now I click on tools. Then I click on citations. Then this is my History Day project. So I go to Chicago. And now I'm going to click add citations. Is it a book? No. What was it? It was a newspaper article because it was the Seattle Times, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's newspaper article because it was the Seattle Times, which is a newspaper. It's not a website. We did access it, though, by website. But I think it was probably a website the whole time. Now where it says search by URL, I'm going to put the URL in. So I know it's a newspaper article. I found it on the web, and now I put my URL in. And now I'm going to click search. Contributors are missing. Well, we know that the contributors were there. We saw the author's name. So now I have to go back because it didn't do it. And I've got to get the name of the author because I don't want it to look like I didn't have authors because we had two authors. So I go back into the document. I click the name of the authors and I paste those in. Then I click the article title because it's not pulling the whole thing up. So I literally am clicking back inside, copying and pasting the article title, putting it back in. Newspaper titles was Seattle Times. Remember that? So I'm typing Seattle Times. Is it one word, Seattle Times, or two?
That's a good question.
Oh, it's two. I just checked. Then I went and looked. Now publishing day is, I'm just going to move the whole thing over. It was March 8th. So 8th is the day. The month is March. So I'm going to type that up, March. And then I'm going to type my year. It's too bad that the whole thing didn't come out, but it didn't. City is Seattle. We know that that's in the state of Washington. This is when you have to do manual. And edition, I'm going to the top to see what the edition is. I don't see it, so I'm just going to leave it blank. URL, I'm going to put that URL in again. So that's that whole HTTP project, Seattle Times. This is a really neat source, you guys. So I'm going to copy and paste that URL in. And then access date is today's date. So today's date is 4. Month is September. Year is 2025. And now I'm going to click add citation. Got it. Then I'm not going to have it click in for I can click cite if we want right there. And did it go in? Let's undo that. Oh, let's put it right here. Put my cursor where I want it. So I'll put it right there. We'll click insert reference. And there it is. Now, the problem is this is an annotated bibliography, so I don't want the word reference there. But see how pretty it has the hanging indent. The only problem with this source is it needs to be single spaced because this is Chicago. So I went up to my little thing. And now I'm going to write a little paragraph. Okay. I need to pull this link off. And so the paragraph would be, this is a compilation of stories, research, and evidence about the hundreds or about the unknown or about whatever, the victims. About the female victims of Juarez and the mothers who are trying to bring them justice. Okay, and then look at what we use here. This is really important. We use this for, so for example, I know that Lily and Grace could use this for their set. We used this to design the set for our opening scene. We already know this is true. Okay, and then we could do and the crosses and flowers. The mothers used to tell the tragic story of their daughters. And then we also use this source. And I don't know if this will be true or not, but let's just pretend this is true, to base one of our main characters. And then she would say her name. And then you might say a little bit more about that. Okay, it's short. It's 3 sentences. The first sentence is an overview of what the article does. The second 2 sentences are how you used it. My girls that I'm helping with this do performance. So they would talk about set design, costumes, characters to prove their evidence of their thesis. So another thing they could have said is, we use this to prove our thesis that the women of Juarez had disappeared and that their mothers were seeking reform. That would be a great thing to put in annotated, because anytime you're supporting your thesis, that's what your judges are looking for. So what did we do? We got a source, we had it cited, and then we wrote a little paragraph about it. Now there's a problem with this. Ms. Roman, do you want to point out what it is?
I wish I could see.
See it?
I can see your screen, but I can barely see your screen on my small screen.
Oh, can anybody point out what is wrong with it? Amanda, can you see?
The indent.
So this is so silly about Chicago. Oh, goodness, kiddos. But you have to, it has to look exactly like this.
Mm-hmm.
So as you can see, I'm going to blow my screen up really big for you guys. Okay. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's much better.
Jeremy asked for my email. My first name is Vanessa. So if you're emailing me through the school district, it's Vanessa Roman, but vanessa.roman@omsd if you're sharing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go ahead.
Because Vanessa's ruled the world today. That's how I think.
Apparently.
So can you guys see you have your source right here? Okay. And this is really good because we have this, the day it was actually sourced. And because they didn't have us do access date because it's a real newspaper. That's interesting. And then we have just a 3-sentence summary explaining what the source says. So I have to read it and I want to use details so I sound intelligent. And then 2 things about how we used it to prove our thesis and, images for our documentary. Or so, for example, Karen is going to interview like her mom, for example. So she could let's see if we can find a live interview. I'll bet we can.
We have some questions in the chat. Emma was asking, does it have to have HTTPS? Not all URLs are going to have that. The majority you'll find will, but not always. It can go ahead and just differ depending on what the source is. So it's really going to be a hit or miss, but majority of the time, I would say you would see that in a link. As we scroll through like these sources that Ms. Stevens is showing on her screen, the majority of them are going to have that HTTPS part of their address. Another question is, when citing our sources, do we have to include the HTTPS in our primary sources? So I'm assuming, Lily, you mean the URL. If you're going to go ahead and look something up online and you found it online and it has a URL, most of the times you're going to go ahead and include it.
But look at this. So let's answer that because we got to talk about your books because we're going to do more books this year. Mm-hmm. So here's a live interview. So my girls that I worked with today who are working on the sterilization documentary, your live interview is the name of the person you're interviewing, right? What they did. So for example, this could be like Stevens Angela, and then it could be teacher at Ray Wilsey Middle School or history day coach at Ray Wilsey Middle School. And then Zoom interview or live interview, and then the date. And you can see in here, there's no HTTP. There's no website because that's my interview. But notice we said the word interview. Can you guys see that? So it tells them exactly, right? Can you see that?
Yes.
So thanks guys. Sorry, it's really hard for me to tell. Now let me show you a book one so you can get an idea. I really hope we have a lot more books and less websites this year. That's one of our big goals. Oh, this is a good one. This one is the Des Moines Register. This is an actual newspaper primary source of the time. So this was the author, the title of the newspaper article, the name of the newspaper, just like we did, when it was written, and then when we accessed it. Let's see if I can find it. I'll bet the book ones are in secondary. Almost all the book ones are in secondary. That's where your books are going to be. Let's see if I can find the girls' book sources. Here's music, although this could have been in primary probably because it's a Beatles Christmas record, right? Could that have been?
I think so, but I don't know why it says 2007. It might have been the image of the record.
Oh, I'll bet you that's right. Because if it was the real record, it was the actual Beatles record from the time, then it would have been in primary, right?
I think, yep, that sounds right.
Okay, let's see if we can find a book in here. Ooh, this is the best stuff right here. See, this is case briefs, actual case law. So this, I think, Mrs. Roma, didn't you find this one?
Yes, and I'm just thinking now with our girls that are doing the sterilization of Chicana women, they definitely want to go to case briefs because theirs is all reliant on a law.
So I'm going to go ahead and get out of this for a minute and tell you what you should be looking at. Some things that you want to look at is newspapers from the time, for sure. It's really important. images from the time, music at the time. Like, what were they listening to? What were they watching on TV? Get a sense of like their culture, like what was happening at the time, especially if you're doing documentary. So you can use music from their era. That would be really powerful and important. In exhibit, you have to use images of their time. So you want to be looking at artists from their time and pictures of their time. So Alex, you would do both. You want to search both. So that's a really good question. So if you're doing a big topic, this would apply to like women of war. As Jeremy, this will apply to you too. So when you're doing your big topic, which his big topic is Formula One, but he's telling it through the story of, I don't know how to say this name, but I think it's Ayrton Senna. You're going to look up both things and you're going to source both things. So you're going to put in your secondary sources, you're going to learn the history of Formula One. But then in your primary sources, you're going to interview people who actually helped start it. You might have in your primary sources pictures of the first time that they ever raced or the track that was there.
Mrs. Stevens, I think also Emma had a question about putting in the publishing dates. She said, when putting the published date and month, I put the number for the month. Is that correct?
No, March. Mm-hmm. You always write it out. So it's like Emma, it's formal. Mm-hmm. Except it goes, let's look at it again. This I always have to check because it's different. See, look, even in the quotes, they've got Feb. But here in your access dates, right here, can you see that?
No, you're not sharing your screen.
Oh, I'm not sharing. Dang. Sorry, guys. It's kind of tricky. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, can you see how it's for January 2023? Yes. Guys, that should look familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Access 20 September 2024. So you can see the format for the date.
Also, because they're spelling it all the way out, I mean, like the month. So instead of saying Jan, short for January, we're actually typing it all the way out. Should their process or should their references all be like that going henceforth?
The only reason this one says Feb, see how it says Feb, is that was literally the title. Mm-hmm. And in fact, it was such a bad title, we almost threw out the source because of it. Because that sticks out as sloppy. Mm-hmm. We want to look the most formal we possibly can. Okay. If you're lost, that's okay. I just taught you a lot of stuff. So let me keep it really simple. If you wanted to just get ready to learn stuff and have me keep helping you with stuff, you could do something really, really simple, which is you could just go to the sources and put the links in the documents. So I can show you that one more time. And we'll just put a couple links in there. So I'm going to share my screen one more time. Sorry, not that one. We're going to share a different one. Okay. Can you guys see how we're back searching again? We still have all these great sources. So let's say we want to look at justice for our daughters. We know this is about the women again. This is about the reform they're demanding. This is great. Justice for our daughters. This is exactly what Grace and Lily need to be reading. This gives us a number of murdered women, so we really like this. And we can click here for a full brief. It's written by the U.S. Committee of Refugees and Immigrants, and it's a .org. So this is a very reliable source. We like this source a lot. It's looking good. So now I'm going to copy my URL in the top. Just click copy. Let me get out of that. Grace, I put that in there for you, okay? Then I'm going to go back. Into my Tinker versus Des Moines, right? That's a secondary source. It's not primary. There was no primary source there. It's secondary. So I go where it says secondary, underneath where it says secondary. And Jeremy, if you just want to do this, there's no problem here. You can literally just put the link. Now, if you're more advanced and you want to help move it along, instead of just putting the link there, click on Tools, click on Citations, click on Add Citation Source. It's a website. We accessed it by website. I'm pasting the URL in. Can you guys see this? Please tell me you can see this.
Yes.
Yes.
It won't cite it, so now I cite it manually. So I go back in, I type the author's name, the title, the website, the URL, and then it'll add the citation for me. Okay, Pop and Roman, help me out. What are you thinking?
I think everyone's at a great start. We all have title pages. We all have a section for our process paper. And I see everyone's got a section for primary and secondary sources. So there's a few links on there for everybody that they've all kind of started. So I think we're in a good spot right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, at least you've seen it, so you have some idea where it is. In the chat, would you guys want us to do a couple more of these online where we help you with annotated bibliography and go through the process with you more? Or what are you thinking?
Vanessa's asking, what was the title again?
I don't know how to spell quinceañero, so give me just a minute. Is it just quince?
You could do that for short, at least until we change it on the document itself.
Yeah, I was like, for now, until we come up with something more creative.
Quince.
Okay.
Emma said yes. Jasmine said yes. Grace said yes.
Okay, so that's kind of what I thought. This can be overwhelming. So I think if I just keep, if you don't panic, it's only September and you already have an annotated bibliography. We'll just keep helping little bits at a time. And all of a sudden, I promise you, ask Vanessa, it'll just click. And then one day you'll be like, oh, this is easy, but not quite yet. That's okay.
Also, while Miss Roman was looking through the papers that you all shared with us, I also left a comment on there. I was trying to think of some possible titles for you guys if you're kind of stuck on what you want to have as a working title. These are just suggestions. You do not have to choose any of those. This is kind of throw out words onto papers just for you guys to kind of see if this is the direction you want to head on, or if we go ahead and just scrap all of that and try something new. So just heads up.
And then just a reminder, if you haven't done it for your group, just make sure you're all on one document. And then on top of that, I know we told you that already, but it becomes a problem. And then make sure you share with all the History Day coaches. If you share with all of us, then we can definitely help you get your annotated bibliography in order. So make sure you share those with Miss Populous, myself, of course, Mrs. Stevens, and Mrs. Valverde as well.
Looks like there's going to be some more questions tomorrow. Yeah, we know this is a lot, so hopefully it wasn't too overwhelming or just too confusing for you guys. Hopefully it was helpful. But if you guys have any questions, please feel free to go ahead and ask tomorrow.
And I just have to say, if you have a title page and the words annotated, that's great. Now, when you find your sources in your books, just put, like if you get a book, just put the title of the book under secondary source, and then we'll source it. If we come up with a song that we're going to use in your documentary, put the name of that song in there. Just getting them inside so we can help you source them will save you hours, because then the coaches can help you get the sources right. Because I know you're already out looking. I know you're already out reading books. So we need to get all the stuff you've looked at inside the document so the judges give you credit for all your hard work. And I made a promise to you. So you want to sign out right now so that we get your promise. So coaches, I promised them for everyone who stayed all the way through, we would help them do 3 sources. Not each coach, but as coaches, we would like, for example, my friend Janelle's here. So she's going to get 3. We're going to help her one-on-one get 3 sources, because I feel like then they'll have a really good start and they can kind of see what it looks like. And then they're like, okay, we know we have 3 good sources. We can keep building.
I started with her group already. So
good.
I snuck on there because I found a protest poster. I found a Library of Congress article, and I was going to put the legal document on there right now for them. So they have at least 3 sources.
Awesome. So they're like feeling good. So, okay. So if you want to, Yes, Vanessa. In fact, Julie's with you, so you get 6 because it's 3 for each. So Julie's like, yes. Yeah, absolutely. You get 3 sources too. And then for my high school friends, make sure you talk to them because I'd like to come start coaching you in person on Thursday next week before I come here. I'd really like to see you. Okay, so sign out if you want your 3 source. No guarantee unless you put your name as a. I'd like to hear you say, thanks, Mrs. Roman and Pop, for volunteering to help us out. This is blah, blah, blah. And then whoever you are, whoever blah, blah, blah is, will get sources. Is that fair?
And Mrs. Stevens, you can thank all 3 of us.
Yes. Vanessa asked if she's going to get those sources too.
Yeah, she's like, that's what I want. That's what I told him. I was like, you don't even know this, but this is so much better than Takis. Like, you're going to be so happy.
You will appreciate it. Vanessa knows. That's why she's asking.
That's why, yeah, she's like,
that's the national champion there.
Yeah. Although, did you share a document with us, or did they make one yet? Because I haven't gotten shared with
can't
yet.
share it with you unless you do your public. So, like, that's why I put. I'm sure she shared with Stevens was teaching.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, any other high schoolers that want additional sources, my personal email is ela.theroman@gmail.com.
Oh, Emma gets her sources. She knows how to do it. Okay, I see Emma getting sources. See if we get anybody else before we sign off. Lily's getting sources.
Jezebel.
All right, you call them off.
So we got Emma, Lily, Jezebel so far. We have those 3. Miss Grace also.
Yes.
Karen. Thank you.
Good job, Karen.
Karen's thank you was very specific. She said, thank you for the good advice. I love a specific compliment.
Love that. And once you've signed off, you're good to go. Thank you for coming. We promise to make it worth your while.
Who's bathrobe? Oh, it's Nicole. I was like, what? Excellent. So that was Nicole. We got Lisa, Isabella Cardenas. We have Camila. We have Stephanie and Abner. Thank you guys. And Jeremy, the catwalker.
Yes.
Yeah, Janelli. Throwing in some more very detailed thank you. Yeah, those thank yous are nice. Alex, awesome. Strawberry boba.
Did you guys know
Alyssa?
You feel gratitude? It's the strongest anecdote for depression and anxiety. Isn't that cool?
That makes sense.
Yeah, when the brain research has showed you can't feel true depression or anxiety when you feel genuine gratitude.
Yeah.
Reminds us. So I'm grateful for these kids. I'm not gonna lie, these are the greatest kids in the universe.
Yeah, I agree.
Jasmine said hi.
Hi, Jasmine.
Hi.
Bye, Camilla. Bye. Oh, I got you, Jasmine. I got you.
Yep.
Okay. 15 amazing kids. It's a lot of sources, but we got you covered. Have a great night. You guys are the best.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Good night, my Jeremy. I got both Jeremys, right? I have 2 of them. Okay. All right. Yes. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.